This is Sybert signing into another livecast game, and if history will serve us, then it should be c9q9md as the blue allies on the left side. The map is going to be Temple Prime, of course named for the wonderful temple in the middle, which is going to be a random map basically in the lobby. Just hit the random button 3 times. This is the map we got, and spawning as the yellow allies on the right side, we have mates Vindies. So it is going to be another allied mirror matchup, which sometimes they're a ton of fun, and sometimes we've got dual racks openers from Vindies, and not so much from C9. He actually indeed did go power plant first to follow it up with that faster airfield. Is it going to be cryocopters very quickly, or is it going to be Vindicators on the up and up with Vindies? But the dog is going to be coming out, and is he going to be able to secure both of the oil derricks? Because Vindies, of course, with these, whatever is going to be coming out here for C9, it looks like he is going to be going for that Vindicator. And yeah, wait a second. I was actually kind of confused because at first I thought that C9 was the one who was saying, I don't even know what I was thinking anymore. But we do have the first Vindicator going to be out. And, yeah, so it definitely is apparent that it was an airfield first for Vindies. He knows exactly what is going to be going on. Will be sniping the engineer quite nicely there. Might actually get the snipe on at least one of these Javelin Troopers. No, he does split perfectly. Gets the snipe on both of them. So Vindies in a little bit of a trouble just in the fact that he's taken quite a bit of damage. And as long as C9 is able to eliminate those Javelin Troopers, these Peacekeepers can't do anything to anything but the MCV. Of course, with the walls up, the Peacekeepers can't do anything about that. You can you can abuse a bug and fire through walls by force firing right before the walls, but that would be quite cheap of a Vindies to do that. And of course, breaking the game a little bit here, but the split is going to have to be perfect, and it is not. C9 is going to be actually losing this Vindicator. It does get taken out right there as Vindies is able to take it down without too much trouble. And Vindies was possibly trying to just control that a little bit better and wasn't quite able to, possibly because of lag. As you may have noticed, it is a little bit laggy. Vindies is streaming this match, so there is some inherent lag there unfortunately, from Vindies streaming. And that is just something that we will have to do with 3 more Javelin Troopers, or rather the 3 that took out the other Vindicator, going to be moving out. However, Vindies has sold off pretty much everything, and he has not got his second refinery. So in a lot of ways, C9 is actually ahead here, just in terms of unit kills, in terms of economy. But we'll have to see. The Apollo is out for Vindies, so he may be able to just lock down that airfield without too much trouble at all. C9 is now going to be going for his own infantry, dropping down his dual racks about a couple of minutes too late here. As the MCV does pack up, it is going to be forcing these Peacekeepers to pull back. They cannot in any way compete with that MCV, not while it's moving around. But the Javelin Troopers from the high ground are going to be able to focus down that airfield so quickly. And now that Vindicator is absolutely dead in the water. May actually end up crashing down onto the MCV. Of course, no splash damage there. I mean, it's not like it's dishonorable discharge. Such a wonky game from both of these players. Vindies trying to play it out a little bit more normally. And of course, C9 with the dual racks follow-up. Very standard there. About as unstandard as you can get. It's Temple Prime. It's an unusual map. It deserves an unusual game, as we do have Peacekeeper battles being really the meat of this game. As C9 does have certainly overwhelming numbers, Vindies is going to be getting forced to pull back there. The Javelin Troopers on the retreat, and the second refinery has finally been established for Vindies, so he is going to be fairly happy economically, but at the same time, he was able to take down that airfield, which is really nice for Vindies. Eliminating that additional production structure, going to be forcing C9 just to go crazy mass infantry, and it may be the time for some multi-gunner turrets, because if this MCV is going for a bit of a turret push, Vindies definitely does need something queued up. Although it does look like C9 is going to be turning. He might be going for that expansion, although that would be a pretty strange follow-up. It would not be too unusual considering all of the strange things that C9 does indeed do. Vindies going to be grabbing the building on top of the mountain, but is he? Oh, he's actually going to be retransitioning into that dual racks. So really not going to be going for an armor facility, not going to be going for another airfield, nothing like that. He is just going to be going for more infantry. So infantry really prominent in these AVAs that I've been casting lately. So we'll have to see exactly which one of these players is going to be able to make the infantry spam just a little bit better. Vindies is looking to go for this water expansion, which of course will be completely safe from the Peacekeepers, from the javelins of C9, and at the same time he does have a little bit of extra vision and control here, but really, is he going to be able to abuse this ledge in any way with his javelin troopers? It looks like not, just because the MCV is going to be moving away from that position. Those barracks in fairly awful positions. Unfortunately for Vindies, that Apollo will be getting caught out. And actually, Vindies going to be deploying his MCV, so I guess he wasn't going for the expansion. He was more of just going for a safe position. He wanted to be out of the area of fire and is going to be forced to split up his Peacekeepers. Doesn't want to be getting caught off too much by C9's force, and either one of these players can still take this game. Vindies does have a bit of an insurance policy over here in the south. However, C9 is going to be eliminating that oil derrick, which is nice to just nice to take down. Since Vindies does, that does give him a slight economic advantage, although he did have one refinery for way longer than C9 did. And a couple of Peacekeepers going to be getting pulled back. Nice control there by C9. He doesn't want to throw away any extra units because at this point, it's such a tight match where neither one of these players is in a comfortable position at all. C9 has been playing a ton of games today. Vindies, this is like his first match of the day, so both of these players not necessarily in tip-top shape. C9 may be a little bit tired at this point. Vindies a little bit rusty just because he hasn't played any matches today. So, such a wonky beginning as we do have the refinery in the corner. So I guess it was actually going to be an expansion in the south there. However, the naval yard is out. And of course, C9 is like, well, how many super weapons do you have? Because this game is just so silly that one of us must have a super weapon at some time, and of course C9 is just kidding around. He indeed does not have 3 out of 4 super weapons built, or 3/4 built. I guess that would make more sense. It's 3/4 built, but Vindies is going to be forced to retreat here as there's just a ton of infantry. The Riptide's definitely going to be adding a lot of muscle to the army of C9, and Vindies may be in a tough position that he is going to be hard-pressed to get out of. A couple of javelin troopers here not going to be able to stop this solid stream of Peacekeepers. However, on the back end of things, we do have the MCV taking a ton of damage here from these Peacekeepers. One Peacekeeper of C9 did get cleaned up there, but Vindies is on the back foot here, taking damage to his refineries quite soon. The MCV is not going to be going for the crush. If these Peacekeepers get too close from Vindies, then they may actually be getting crushed. No, Vindies does pull back at just the right time there as C9 is turning a lot of his forces around, and it's a bit too late for that base race, but out on the water, this may be what ends up saving C9, or saving Vindies if C9 tries to force that base race in, if Vindies tries to make it happen as well, because Vindies is going to be pulling back. He should be able to deal with this Riptide. He will be taking some losses, but the Stutter Step Micro will be allowing him to just take that out in a couple of shots there, making sure that all of his Peacekeepers are firing basically as many shots as they can. Vindies going to be losing that Riptide, but he has established himself out on the water. Unfortunately, he's only got that one refinery, and of course, with the naval yard of C9, he is going to be able to pump out Riptides to his heart's content, or even eventually get some assault destroyers if he gets his command post or his MCV back there, or a command hub to go ahead and get that tier 2. Vindies going to be going to try to kill the base of C9, but again, the stuff has already been walled up, and I'm not exactly sure if he actually has any javelin troopers with his army. He only needs about one, and he does indeed have that one. The cryo shot did fire off. He was able to take down that harvester. Will be again to take down that refinery. So currently taking out one refinery for one refinery. The javelin trooper is going to be taking out this refinery of Vindies quite easily here, as C9 is going to be possibly losing his entire main base. He doesn't have a whole lot of forces here. Does he have anything queued up like a multi-gunner turret, which would allow him to deal with this attack quite a bit easier? But he does not have any defenses. He hardly has any units here. And it looks like Vindies was cleaned up there. His Peacekeepers getting annihilated, and he is going to be going for that wall. Could go for the power plant. In the meantime, we'll be able to clean up those refineries. Vindies trying to reestablish himself with a command hub, but he does have the airfield in the south. But when you've got just one refinery, it is not good to have just one refinery and trying to hold on to both of those production structures. But at the same time, he doesn't want to sell any of them off One barracks was sold off here for C9. However, the Prospector could actually be put to work and actually start doing some crushing. We'll have to see if C9 is able to utilize his units to really be the most effective that they can be. Peacekeepers are going to be pushing in here, and the Prospector is going to be brought off the line, but C9 is easily microing around that. Will be losing one Peacekeeper, a second and a third do go down before the Prospector actually does go down. The Riptides have shown up just in the nick of time to go ahead and start getting some shots off, and the Javelin Troopers popping out, taking huge amounts of splash damage. There's Vindies eliminating a ton of infantry, but is he actually going to be able to stop this army? No, he is not. C9 cleaning up that attack quite readily. However, the Assault Destroyer is out, taking down that building without too much trouble, and now the Cryocopter out as well, going to be freezing down that Dolphin. Nothing C9 can really do about that. I'm curious, though, if the Dolphin does the jump maneuver to try to avoid that, will he actually stop taking damage or stop being frozen from that Cryocopter? So we'll have to see. And that Dolphin does escape just in time, going to be staying alive for a little bit longer, but Vindies will go ahead and freeze that down. And actually, surprisingly, didn't take any damage there, but he will get frozen apart. So, I mean, that Dolphin could have been resold. It broke into nice pieces, already frozen. The supermarkets would indeed love that. Vindies getting the shots off that he needs and is going to be tanking. I'm actually kind of curious. He is going to be going for the Cryocopter, but really C9 should know that he's not going to be able to kill that Cryocopter, not with Vindies Apollo already having some damage done. So yeah, Vindies does need to go ahead and pull back, although I don't know if there's any Javelin Troopers left. We'll have to see. No, I guess there's not any Javelin Troopers left, otherwise C9 probably would have ejected them on out of there. The Assault Destroyer has been shrunk down just so that it moves a bit faster. Peacekeepers are being added on as well. Yeah, actually, there may be no Javelin Troopers, which means Vindicators and Apollos, as well as the Cryocopters, may have free reign. So C9, is he going to be able to deal with this army, this higher tier army that is, of course, very wonky, but it is a tier up. And, I mean, the Cryocopters are very, very powerful units. The Naval Yard does still stand, which means we could be seeing more Assault Destroyers to hold the front line. Of course, Riptides on the front line with their torpedoes. They're suddenly far more effective against anything out on the water. Vindies and the Apollos are going to be very close there. I think Vindies may actually be losing his at the... Oh, no, he doesn't. I thought it was actually going to be mutual destruction there, but is there anything from Vindies to actually deal with these Riptides? The unit is not done building. Although the Cryocopter is going to be forcing back these Riptides. Where is a second Apollo from C9? It is still a minute or so away. He needs to go ahead. Vindies needs to go ahead and make sure that he cleans up that base, and then after that cleans up the power plant, because eliminating that power plant may be securing the victory for Vindies. However, C9 isn't quite out of it yet, and with these Peacekeepers on the front line, one of them will not be getting crushed there, as I thought for sure it was going to be getting crushed. However, C9 is going to be cleaning up the Cryocopter of Vindies. Unfortunately for Vindies. Oh no, he's microing it just perfectly to keep his Cryocopter alive for as long as possible. Unfortunately, it wasn't enough to keep it alive for as long as he would have liked, and unfortunately for Vindies, C9's Vindicator Apollo will be able to escape. But a really great move there from C9, able to clean up that Cryocopter. That is definitely going to be making his job a lot easier, but the MCV is out of range of these Peacekeepers. They just cannot attack from that range. The MCV cell did happen, so C9, he's got to do it with just this airfield. He's got pretty much nothing else. Of course, he controls the land, but can he control the sea as the Assault Destroyer is moving back up to the front lines? And really, the Assault Destroyer can just sort of sit close to the MCV so that he doesn't have to keep driving all the way back and forth. The Assault Destroyer on the other side of the map going to be crushing those walls. Not too big of a deal there. But the Apollo from Vindies. Oh no, he loses the Assault Destroyer! Vindies, a critical mistake there. I'm actually really surprised that he let that happen, taking a ton of damage. He does have a second one here, but is it going to be falling to the same fate of the first? Oh, this is not good for C9 running that Riptide. He's gonna have to keep it out of a corner, because he definitely cannot be cornered, or else he will have nothing to attack out on the land. And Vindies could actually go ahead and move his MCV maybe over here in the south, maybe up here in the north, to go ahead and establish another expansion. C9 has really the only money that he's got in the bank, however much he's got right now, And then that is pretty much it for him. He's got 1.7k, which will allow him to get at least one more Vindicator or one more Apollo, but not much other than that. I don't think he has any more buildings to sell off, and I do not know if he got the sell-off on that power plant, but he is going to be working just off of Micro alone, those 2 Riptides just running around the map, the 2 Vindicators. The Black Hole Armor not coming into effect there to boost the damage, or reduce the damage incoming for that Assault Destroyer. The MCV still on the front line, but the Vindicator, oh, the Apollo of C9 could actually be going down here, as Vindies may very well be able to deal with that without too much trouble. I'm not entirely sure which one of these players is going to be able to come out ahead, but this may be what seals the deal. A fully heroic Assault Destroyer taking down that airfield. Very unfortunate for C9 if he ends up losing to that Assault Destroyer, but it's just too many Assault Destroyers for C9 to really deal with, and even just 2 is just too many. The Cryocopter is now back out on the field, and there is going to go, with a couple of more shots, the airfield of C9. C9 has been defeated. His super weapons not able to save him in this game. Dual MCV not playing a role in this extremely wonky match between Vindies and C9, where in the end, Vindies barely able to scrape out a victory. What allowed him to do that? That tier 2, those Assault Destroyers actually playing the difference in a game. I don't know if that's actually ever happened, where Assault Destroyers were like, wow, that was actually the difference. So Assault Destroyers are what did it in this game for Vindies. And of course, those Cryocopters certainly did help as well. But that will do it for another livecast game. This is Sybert signing out.